Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do.
Hi, welcome to Vitamin Junkies. I'm Jennifer Lyall.
I'm Dr. JJ.
And we're addicted to good health. Today, we are going to be looking at vitamin D. Some good food sources, some good other sources, and why we need this in our body. And that's what JJ's taking today.
Surprise, surprise, vitamin D. I'll be taking vitamin D. This is a little tiny tablet of vitamin D. It's about 1,000 international units of vitamin D. You could also get vitamin D in droppers, which is kind of neat. They've got these new droppers now that each drop is the equivalent of one of these little capsules. So you could buy little droppers this big that last you, God, I don't know, about 9 months. So very cool, vitamin D.
Awesome. And actually they say that breastfed babies should also supplement with vitamin D too, don't they?
Yeah, probably for rickets prevention too, and also there's been some newer stuff too on how vitamin C for breastfeeding. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah. Also too, you'd be able to pass vitamin D through breast milk because of its fat solubility.
Oh, very good. So tell me, what is vitamin D?
Vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin. So basically, it usually comes from a fat source, and it's a great vitamin. It's almost one of the super vitamins. Seems like every month or so we hear one new application about how great vitamin D is. My favorite therapeutic indication for vitamin D is that it prevents all forms of mortality. So when people take vitamin D, they're less likely to die. So never mind disease, the fact that you're less likely to die is a good incentive. Also, it's been shown to decrease the incidence of a whole bunch of cancers. Useful for depression, useful for seasonal affective disorder, useful for osteoporosis. I think most women know now the importance of vitamin D and calcium for osteoporosis. Heart disease, a number of mental conditions, arthritis, the list goes on.
How does it do this? What does it do in our bodies exactly?
Well, it's for bones it has a hormonal effect. It's just involved in a number of physiological processes in the body, and a number of biochemical processes in the body where it's just key to in that environment.
It helps everything else.
Pretty much, yeah. It's almost the great panacea. Everybody should almost be in vitamin D.
So how much vitamin D should we take each day?
If you're generally a healthy person, if you get a lot of sunlight exposure, then I would say about 1,000 a day. I think just to be on the preventative side. In the wintertime where you get less sun exposure, and particularly if you find your mood dips, get the winter blues, I would go up to about 2,000 a day.
Wow.
Yeah, international units I use.
Now, what happens if you don't get enough vitamin D?
Well, in the case of seasonal affective disorder, you may end up with winter blues. You may have difficulties absorbing calcium. Also, you'll be losing a lot of the preventative benefits that vitamin D has.
Wow. How do we get it? Sunshine?
Sunshine, great source. Definitely one of the top sources. Food, you have some examples here.
Yes.
You've
Dairy.
got dairy, so cheese, some milk. Also, a lot of foods are fortified with vitamin D. Also, multivitamins will contain some vitamin D. But really, in the doses we're talking about, you're looking at about taking vitamin D on its own.
Okay, so even if you have the fish, was it fatty fish?
Oh yes,
Cod
also
liver?
too. Yeah, so fatty fish. So cod liver. So for example, cod liver oil tends to be high in vitamin D. Halibut. These are cold water fish. Tend to be higher in vitamin D. Also swordfish, but you have to be careful with swordfish because it's high in mercury, so I'd avoid that one. But really, cod liver and halibut is very good sources of dietary vitamin D.
And there's also lights too, aren't there, where people can get it?
Yeah, there's seasonal affective disorders, so SAD lamps. So you could get light boxes that you just pretty much put on your desk or you put on your table, and then you just stand in front of it and you get a dose of light. So it's back to the whole sunlight issue. And also you could get them in light bulbs. You just screw them into any light fixture and then away you go.
And what about tanning beds then? If you go to a tanning bed, would you be getting... I guess it depends on the machine.
It would depend on the machine. You would be... I think you'd get a little bit of a therapeutic effect, but I think it'd definitely be a lot stronger with the SAD. Another thing too with the tanning beds, with those SAD lamps, another thing too with the tanning beds is that you're not going to go to the tanning bed every day. Really, when you have seasonal affective disorder and you're getting vitamin D into your body, you want this to be done daily, right? Because if you go to a tanning bed on a daily basis, that's not too good for your skin.
Awesome.
Not good at all.
Would sunscreen affect then the absorption of vitamin D?
Yeah, it does.
So
It does interfere with the absorption of vitamin D. But at the same time, too, if you don't wear sunscreen and you're not careful in the sun, then you may end up with a burn. So you have to be very careful with that. And also, when you get the burn, you predispose yourself to skin cancer. So it's a little bit of a toss-up. So you have to kind of use your common sense and be careful when you're dealing with the sun. So exposure to the sun, but don't go crazy without wearing any sunscreen.
very good.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So you've told us what vitamin D is,
Mm-hmm.
why it's good for us, lots of reasons why it's good to us, for us, and how we can get into our diet. That's fantastic.
Yes, ma'am.
So if somebody needed, though, to be diagnosed as to whether or not they might be a little bit low in vitamin D, they should check in with their doctor or
Yeah,
healthcare
there's also a
practitioner?
blood test you could do too, which is great. And it's almost a routine test you could do here in Ontario. So yeah.
Fantastic.
Blood test, yeah.
So if you want to find a practitioner in your community to do one of these vitamin D tests or just to check out your health overall, you can click on the Find a Practitioner link on our website, vitaminjunkies.com. And while you're there, don't forget to join the addiction, and you'll get notification of every single episode that we release.
And while you're there, please complete our survey because we want to hear what topics you want us to cover on our show. And when you complete the survey at vitaminjunkies.com, you will win a chance to get a $100 gift bag from Hey Jute.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Jennifer Lyall,
I'm Dr. JJ.
and let's continue the addiction to good health.
Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do.